Hello everyone, I'm here at I was looking at the Griffith Observatory earlier. Now I'm going on the trails around the Griffith Observatory. Presently we're on a paved road, even though it's not all paved, it's like partly paved. It was paved at one time and it's deteriorating. But these are the roads they say we can ride on. And if a person takes their bicycle or micromobility of choice on a dirt road where the horses go or where the hikers go, that could lead to a ticket. So I'm just letting you know what the ranger said. Alright, let's see where we are right now. So I'm just exploring right now. I'm practicing sitting down. And turning and steering and just getting comfortable with sitting down. I could go faster though. Let's try that. It's funny because I don't have a seat. I'm just sitting on the electric unicycle. There's no cushion there. I could put a pad. You know what? I have some padding. I think I'll put it on there. I'm going to do that because I am sitting down more now. And I have some really good padding, really good quality padding that I could put on there. What I'll do is I'll clean it, probably with like rubbing alcohol, and then use double-sided sticky tape. That same industrial strength double-sided sticky tape I was talking about in previous videos, or recent previous video I just made recently, and see if that'll hold that on there. And that way I'll have a little bit more cushioning here, because I have the great suspension of the links, but the plastic that I'm sitting on it doesn't have any cushioning. Oh, you know what? I have like this tailbone pad. I just realized this. The reason it's not uncomfortable to sit down on the electric unicycle is because I have a tailbone pad, a really big one. When I say that, it's not that big, but it's really strong armor. And I combined two. Like I put the really hard armor and then a soft pad between me and that hard armor. That way it's more cushioning to me. So if I fall, because I fell when my second week of learning to ride approximately, I wanted to learn to ride backwards and see if I could do it, and I did. And I went across this whole parking lot, which was like 3 football fields long, and I didn't know I got to the end. Like I lost concentration on looking back, and because I really don't look back well. Like I didn't learn that really good. So I just used my mirror, and I would just keep scanning to make sure no one's coming from my right, like on the other side. And I do have a dash cam, a small dash cam that I wanted to install so that I can look at that LCD screen and see behind me. I just haven't done it yet. And I don't know if I will. It's a thought experiment right now. But I do have the Wolfbox i17, which is great. I'm not sure I'm going to put it in my car or on the helmet. But I already have a Wolfbox G900, or no, that's on the motorcycle, along with the Deep Moto D16X, which are both working very, very well on the 2016 Zero SR electric motorcycle. But going back to what I'm doing with what happened that day, is I was going backwards on the electric unicycle, and I went 3 football fields approximately, at least 3, in length across this whole driveway, whole parking structure. And then at the end of that was a pile of rocks on the ground, and I fell back on the rock that was like sharp, and it hit my tailbone. Now I did have the softest tailbone armor in. That was loud. I had a very soft, soft and thin, and that did not give enough protection. I'm sure it helped a little bit. If I didn't have that there, I might have been, who knows, I might have broke the tailbone. That happens. I've read that happens. I don't think I broke mine. I didn't go to the doctor for it. It just hurt really bad for months. And I mean, like, I don't know if it was like how many months that was. When I fell, it hurt. And right away I put more the other armor in, because the shorts that I bought, that I put on underneath my pants, the shorts that I bought had different inserts that you can put for armor. And I left everything in place as it came, except for the tailbone. It gave me these choices of like a thin, soft, or a soft, thick, and also a really, really hard armor. Well, after I fell, before I fell, I had the thinnest, softest cushion in the tailbone area, right? It slides into an insert, right? It slides into that. Now, after I fell, I put the thickest, softest armor combined with the hardest one, the one that's really strong and hard like a rock. So that hard one is on the outside and the soft one's on the inside. So that way I feel the soft. And if I fall on something, I'm hoping that the hard armor will not allow whatever I fall on to hurt my tailbone again. And I recommend to anyone to wear tailbone protection, as well as knee protection, elbow protection, wrist protection, because people do break their wrists. And if you have some kind of wrist guards, and then if you can, put some also full finger gloves. Some people prefer to not have their fingers covered. I understand that. I had the wrist guards on. I think it was E-Wheels wrist guards. It's the ones they give you if you buy something like an electric unicycle from them. That's what I was told. I just ordered them from them directly because I saw a lot of people use them. And after I fell, and they did work great for my wrists, but my fingers were getting cut. I just fell over at low speed turning. I just fell over, lost my balance, and it's when I was first starting to ride the Lynx, and I hadn't ridden the V10F in like over a month. Right, I was waiting for the Lynx to come. I had ordered it, and it was on its way to me for a while, and but that's next gen mobility. If you buy from next gen mobility, it takes a while to get to you, right? It might take 4 weeks to get you, but you'll save a lot of money. But if you want it right away, you can get it from E-Wheels, and Roger EUC has that on all his videos. It says E-Wheels in the top right corner or somewhere on there. And Roger is a great racer and high level skills in riding electric unicycles. Okay, I know that's a path over there. I think they call this is the helipad over here. Helipad, which is a helicopter area landing where they can land. So we can go up here. Take a break up here, right? Oops. Am I falling? No. Thought I was. So, what was I talking about? I forgot. It's amazing how those buildings stand up like that. And some things were very advanced, and other things were just absolutely not advanced at all. Our highways, our roads, terrible. Absolutely terrible. We have traffic. People sit in traffic for hours every single day of their lives. Or at least on work days. Well, even on days off. And how much of our lives do we spend just sitting there waiting in traffic? And there's no hope in sight. I don't see anything. I studied, like, I don't know if it's called futurist or futurism or something, and you see different designs for transportation that would flow easier, whether it be through tubes and tunnels or just different ways. So many different ways. We've also had people from other planets that... What's that? Someone's got their float... I don't know if it's a float wheel or what that is. Oops, I accidentally got them and blasted them. So, someone's riding their one wheel. I think it's called a one wheel up here. That's allowed on the paved roads. As long as you're on the paved roads, they allow it. I don't know if you could see that. It's kind of like a skateboard with the one wheel in the middle. And when you push forward on it, when you put your front foot down, it goes forward. So, what was I saying? I forgot. Oh. Advanced in some things and not advanced in other things. Other life forms. So People are like, oh, I want proof. I want proof. Well, I don't know about proof, but I like stories. So, I don't need proof. I just like thinking about things. So, if people from a different planet, people like us, right? They might look different or they might look the same, all different kinds of people. But they live in a way that where they don't have traffic, they've overcome a lot of the obstacles that we're facing, and they share with us solutions. I don't know what we're doing with that, if we do anything with it. How do we change? How do we not have traffic? How do we not have pollution? How do we stop wasting and say, well, we're recycling, so it's okay to waste because we're recycling now. So we can waste, and it's not waste if we recycle. Is that right? Is it all about just making money off everything moving? Like money when we waste, money cleaning it up, so it makes more jobs? I've read articles like that. Oh, wasting creates jobs. It's a strange way to look at it, but even if it in a way it's true, right? But it doesn't mean we should keep wasting, though. It doesn't mean it's a reason to waste. Like, oh, we have to make more jobs, so we just keep wasting. I know I'm not specifying what that means exactly, but I'm just thinking out loud. But how do we get to travel the universe, and should we be traveling the universe when we can't even stop fighting on our own planet? I think a lot of people want to leave this planet and go somewhere else where it's already peaceful. I've read stories that has been done already. People can leave here and go live somewhere else in a peaceful world. Proof? I don't know. What's proof? Can you prove anything? I don't know. I mean, if someone moved there, lived on a different planet, and then came back and told us about it, would anybody believe them? And what would be considered proof, I don't think there's a such thing as proof. Did you know that science doesn't even prove? It's not the job of science to prove anything. If you look up, I don't know how to word it exactly, but if I was looking up, like, does science prove anything, or something like that, right? And I read a lot of, like, intelligently written articles saying science, it's not the job of science to prove. It's not what it does. And saying something's impossible is completely irrelevant to science. It's irrelevant because science is documenting an experiment over and over and over, changing some variables and doing it again, changing variables again, doing it again. And it's not saying, well, my experiment makes all future experiments impossible. That's not science. Science is to explore. It's to explore both possibility and infinite impossibility, but really to explore infinite experience, which is what existence is. Sure is amazing up here. It's amazing how everything looks so small when it's far away, right? Like the universe, endlessly large, but a galaxy which has trillions upon trillions of stars in it, or trillions upon trillions of solar systems, right? And a galaxy can look the same size as a star because it can be much further away than a star is to us. So if a star is very close and a galaxy is very far, the star can look larger to us than the galaxy. And that's just because the star is so much closer to us. Isn't that interesting? And now I'm thinking, how does that relate to energy, right? And how does energy relate to the inverse square law? Like in photography and in light, studying light, we learned that the intensity of illumination is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the subject and the light source. I think the way we can word that is at double the distance, so from 2 feet to 4 feet, we have 1/4 of the light, the brightness, right? And what else does the inverse square law apply to? Thought experiment. Okay, let's speed up. Here we go. No idea where I'm going right now. Okay, I'm gonna do my carving. It's not. I don't know if it's carving or not. I'm just gonna practice my turns while I sit down. I saw Justin and Mario doing this. I think Alex was doing it too. He might have been the other night on the ramen ride, after ride. I am very happy wearing my motorcycle boots, my street bike boots, the Alpine Stars, on the electric unicycle. Very happy with it because I feel that my ankles have much more support, and my tibia and fibula, which were badly broken when I was a child, I feel like they have more support. And a lot of people, look at that hole right there. That's very deep. There's holes in this road. I'm just glad they fixed the other one for now. I mean, I know things take time. Everything takes time. But I'm glad they fixed the other road. That's really good. I'm going to focus on the positive right now. Focus on the positive, right? There's a philosophy. I walked into this, I don't know if you call it a temple, but it's a group of people that work in charity, I'll say it that way. That's the way I perceive them. I don't know how they represent themselves. But there was writing inside this place, and I was in there for the purpose of there was going to be a wedding there. And we were looking at it for as a location. And a person that was showing us the place was, I think, a member of that group. The writing that was in there was so beautiful, and I'm not gonna be able to quote what it said. If I looked it up, I might be able to find it if I typed part of the quote that I know and see if I could find it. But it said something like, and I'm paraphrasing, okay, that we only remember the good, and we do not recite the negative or the failed. Now, I don't think that means we don't learn from our mistakes and we can't talk about what we've learned. I don't think it means that. But I do think it means that we can go through life just cherishing the positive and talking about it, embracing it, collaborating about it, right? Some people call negativity poison. They call negativity poison. Imagine that. Hang on a second. My nose is itching. Imagine negativity being poison, where you talk about something negative, and anyone that hears it, it's like it kills the imagination, right? Kills it. So how can we support the imagination and not kill the imagination? Think about that, because you make a difference in what you talk about, just as I do. And I try to be responsible with what I talk about. But remember, this is my journal, so I try to talk about everything. So there will be negative things, there will be sad things, there will be a little bit of everything. But I try to talk about what makes me want to live, what I live for, what inspires me: collaboration, working together, infinite possibility, and the potential, the infinite potential that is existence. The infinite potential that is existence. Now, I talked about dying when I was like around 10 years old, right? I left my body, I went up, and there was two beings, some people call them angels, and they were asking me telepathically if I wanted to go on, which some people call heaven or a different life. It was a place of absolute love, and there's no reason we can't have that here, okay? But we have to not fight over property and material things, right? We haven't figured that out, but I'm telling you, we can do it. We just have to not fight for any reason. We have to find ways to not fight. And we have powerful brains. Our brains are more than powerful enough to figure out how to stop destroying each other. They really are. And our hearts are big enough to really have love for everyone. Or to at least not destroy each other. Okay, I'm going to turn around. Oh gosh, I'm standing up. Stretch my legs for a minute. I see a lot of bicycle tracks going through here. That's because the cyclists come through here a lot. Okay, I'm going to turn around. Let me do a couple figure eights right now. What if doing the figure eight like 3 times was a call for extraterrestrial life to come down and give me a tour of the universe? I would say yes. Right now I'm ready. No, I don't need the pack. I'll wear whatever you guys wear. I'll eat whatever you guys eat. Do my 3 figure eights. There was a story of a person lighting 3 fires, I think it was, which is, I read this story about a person lighting a fire in 3 spaces, like in a triangle shape, I think it was. Double check this for yourself. And that is the symbol for when you're in trouble. I think it's for in the military. That's what they said. You'd have to confirm all this for yourself. And a spaceship came down. Extraterrestrial life from different galaxy, different part of the universe, to help the man, and he freaked out because these beings, first of all, the beings on the ship sent down some robots. I'm calling them robots. I don't know what they were. They were just trying to help the guy. He was scared to death. Scared to death. All they wanted to do was help him. He was like shooting at him with his bow and arrow and stuff. And when you read the story, you see they never hurt him. They didn't hurt him. They put him to sleep because they were afraid he was going to hurt himself, I think. But that's like is it Travis Walton? I can't remember his name. Fire in the Sky. Years later, after that all happened, because first of all, he said the Hollywood movie. He said Hollywood, they wanted to make it scary. He said in real life it wasn't scary at all. They were just trying to help him. He activated the spaceship's security system and it blasted him, or he got too close to the high voltage electrogravitic propulsion system that is the spaceship, that surrounds the spaceship, and he got too close to it. This is a different story I'm talking about now compared to the fires, right? The 3 fires was a separate story. So Travis Walton, I think is his name. This is a different story. He was cutting, I think it's called Fire in the Sky. There's a book on it. I think I bought the book. I've watched the movie, I've read about it, read about the story. Later he said that they just were trying to help him. It took him a long... He said people told him that. He said, were they trying to help you? And he's like, I don't know, no, they were hurting. Oh, let me think about it. And after many, many years, he realized they were just helping him because they hurt him. The ship hurt him, and they don't want to hurt life. So, now does that mean all life in the universe is peaceful? I don't think so. I mean, we're in the universe, and are we peaceful? I mean, we're capable of it. And we claim to be peaceful as we blast the enemies away, right? But how could we not fight and still neutralize, if I say it that way, a danger? Like if something wants to hurt us, can we stop that without hurting innocent people and without hurting anybody? And that seems to be like where the money should go, not in making a more deadly weapon or a weapon that kills faster, right? Because people, they say don't kill the messenger. I feel like people are messengers, and we just keep killing the messenger on both sides, in a way. I mean, I know it's not a perfect fit, it's not a perfect analogy, but it's like we have to stop fighting. We just have to. Because, if you just think about it, look how fast we accelerate with technology, right? I mean, even though NASA, as far as I know, is not using the faster than light speed electrogravitic propulsion systems that Thomas Townsend Brown, John Searle, SEG system, Ralph Ring talked about, Otis T. Carr designed as well. So many people made these faster than light speed electrogravitic spaceships that cohere that infinite vacuum energy, right? Very simply, too. I mean, you're just talking about spinning magnets within magnetic fields. Anybody can do that. John Searle did this in his kitchen and blew a hole right through the top of the roof by just spinning magnets in a crude way. We see his SEG generator systems on the internet, and we're like, oh, that would cost so much to make that. Well, his first system was nothing like that. So try to think of the crudest, simplest way you can spin magnets within spinning magnets within spinning magnets. And I'm saying spinning magnetic fields within spinning magnetic fields within spinning magnetic fields, right? 3 sets of those. You can go more than that if you wanted to, but I think you can't go less. And then see what happens. See if it goes through the roof. But probably do the experiment outside in the desert, right? So you don't cause any damage. That's a big hole right there. Let me practice my turning left and right. Well, this is fun to do this. But I can feel that I could easily fall any second. So that could happen, just letting you know. I have my gear on. Okay, let's try higher speed in our turns. So to me, it's very obvious that there's extraterrestrial life not only visiting the planet at all times, but also living on the planet. Probably living in the planet just makes sense. And living throughout the solar system and throughout many, many solar systems and many, many galaxies. And as many people have said, well, why don't they visit us? Well, they're already here. And also, you could say, what would they be visiting? What would we do to them? How many documentaries do you need to see where the military is shooting at them and they never shot at us? They're just here. They were just like floating around here, like visiting. I'm going to call it visiting because they weren't doing anything bad. And then our planes are shooting at them or chasing them away. And I mean, wouldn't it be interesting to communicate with them and see if we can communicate? If they're not taking people or hurting people, I know we have our stories on that, but that's not the specific experiences I'm talking about. They're not hurting us, and we're trying to hurt them. Why? Why? How much could we learn from? Imagine that there's life that their solar system, right? If we compare the age of their solar system to ours, imagine their solar system or their planet, their Earth-like planet, which there's trillions of them, Earth-like planets in our galaxy alone, right? It's a scientific fact. This is known, right? I read this in many science books that were written by people that worked at NASA their whole lives. There's planets that are Earth-like, and they're many millions of years older than ours. Okay, so imagine that there's beings like us that are 1,000 years ahead of us. Imagine now they're 1,000,000 years ahead of us. Imagine now they're 1,000,000,000 years ahead of us. If you were them, would you come and visit Earth? And if you did, what would you do if the military was chasing you away? I mean, this whole thing is like, really? Because to me, I think we need a department of extraterrestrial visitation where they're protected. They don't get harassed or interrogated. They're protected to visit. They're protected to visit. They're more advanced than us, right? They're way more advanced than us. If they wanted to hurt us, they could hurt us. But I think when you're at that level of development, you're way past any kind of hurting anyone, because the technology is so advanced that you have to be past that. You have to be beyond causing harm, or they would have already destroyed themselves. You know what I mean? I read a lot of stories about this, and it makes sense. So a lot of, like, when I was growing up, a lot of people would say, oh, the Earth is destined for destruction, we're just destroying the planet, and who cares? There's nothing we can do. And what I'm going to say is, who you vote for matters. If you don't know who to vote for, just pick someone that sounds like they have a plan that you like, right? And a big plan. I mean, like in the bigger picture. Not just a couple things that sound good, like, oh, that sounds good. Yeah, we'll vote for you because I like what you said about this and this and this. But like in the big plan, the bigger plan, right? The big plan for the most people, what affects the most people, right? And you could just vote for the president. You can vote just for the president. You don't have to vote for all the other things. I don't know if you knew that. It's very important. So you could skip all the other stuff, and you can ask for help. You can say, I just want to vote for just the president only. How do I get to that? And then do I have to say, do I have to like, do I have to skip all the other ones or say none or an NA? Do I have to do that for every single thing, or can I just put the vote in for the president and then that's it and walk away, right? You can ask these kind of questions. But I do think that it matters. And even Trump himself was saying he wants to win so big that even if there was corruption in the voting system, that it would be so overwhelmingly obvious that you just couldn't what am I trying to say? That it couldn't be corrupted because it'd be just too overwhelming, right? Now, that works both ways. It works for both of the people, whoever's running for presidency. You can really put your vote in there, whoever it is, right? And oftentimes people will meet in groups, have a barbecue, talk about things, okay? That's important. That's what I do. I meet with friends and I talk to people and I say, who are you voting for and why? And you could have many of these meetings. And you don't have to be pressured into voting for something you feel uncomfortable with, you know? And even if a certain person helps with business, but is not helping with the majority of people, that's a loud bird, but is not helping with the majority of the population, right? We can still ask, is that the best person to vote for? It's like, wow, but they're doing this for businesses. But what about all the other people? Like, what's happening with insurance? What's happening with right? Because everybody wants their insurance, right? What's happening with healthcare? What's happening with, what's the big plan, right? What's the big plan? Ooh, oh, gosh, I should have stood up for that. What's that? Is that a coyote? That's something big. Is that a deer? Looks like a deer. Oh yeah, I turned around back there. I forgot. So we're going back the other way. Oh, am I there now? Am I back at? No, not yet. Not back at the road yet. I have to be careful not to fall off this, like slowing down, because I already fell once like that when a car pulled out. And a ranger could be up here. They can come around the corner, and that could startle me. I react to it and fall backwards. Okay, I'm gonna make a new video. Stop recording. Stop recording.